Aaron?
Has there been a big difference in how you guys have approached the defense the last couple of days in terms of preparing them or diagnosing who's going to be playing or not playing? I mean, have you guys taken steps to try and change the way you do things?
Well, I don't know if it's changed the way you do things. You're in some areas. You're again, you can't manufacture experience. You have to try to if you make a mistake, you do something great, put that in your hip pocket and learn from it. If it's a real negative thing, you try to learn from it and throw it away and not carry it with you. And again, some of those things are personnel things. Some of those are schematic things. In some areas you might be adding, in some areas you might be reducing, and just creating competition at different spots. But the biggest thing is just going out there and playing fast and playing with confidence and doing your job and trying to block out, everything else that goes through a young person's mind in some of these situations.
Kristen, to the left.
Yesterday, Scott Frost said that he felt like he was doing Vernon Adams a disservice by having him out there when he wasn't 100%. How do you adjust the offense then? Do you try to run the ball a little bit more, or how do you prepare for Colorado in that way?
Well, each game plan is different, and we've got some skilled guys at wideout, we've got some skilled guys at running back, and some skilled guys at tight end, and so it'll just depend kind of on how that plays out game plan by game plan. But yeah, anytime, I think we talked about this on Sunday night. Anytime you've got a situation, a medical situation, when the trainer says he's up or down, that's easy. We don't make those calls when it's kind of a gray area. And I'm not speaking specifically of Vernon, but in general, when you're trying to get into the psychological side of things, the confidence side of things, that's where it's most difficult. Again, a lot of these guys are very competitive guys. They want to be out there no matter what, and you weigh that. But we're going to always put who we think is giving us our best chance out there.
Ryan, up front.
Are you expecting to see maybe a more confident Colorado team now that they've had some results, and maybe I'm sure they probably think they can beat you guys after last week?
Definitely. I mean, they're playing with a ton of confidence. The way things have set up for them, they're absolutely riding high on offense, on defense, on special teams. Played really well last week, created a ton of turnovers, and you can see that the confidence is building.
Preston, in the back.
Nelson Spruce, obviously very good receiver for Colorado. With how the secondary performed last week, what's kind of your concern level guarding him, and just kind of describe him as a receiver in his style?
Yeah, he's I don't know what the word, he's a great route runner. I'm not sure exactly what that is. He's got unbelievable hands, very, very strong hands. He can catch the ball away from his body really well, creates a big target for he's not a hugely tall guy, but he has great range. And then the quarterback is playing with so much more confidence, and they're putting him in good situations. And then, yeah, he's part of the to use your word, concern as far as how we're approaching them. But they've also got a great run game going right now, and they've been very balanced.
Go ahead now.
After the game, you had guys like Hardrick and Buckner both said that some of the young guys needed to pull their weight a little bit more, and that maybe when they put on the uniform after coming to such a winning program, they expect to win, and it takes more than that. Do you kind of get that sense from any of the young guys?
Well, we harp on that all the time, and that could be fifth-year senior, that could be a true freshman, that could be a coach, that could be anybody. Is we don't get. I always say we don't get points because the O shows up. They don't put 21 points on the board. You have to earn every single inch every single day, and that absolutely is can happen. Guys just show up and they expect to get whatever, and it's all disguised as really hard work.
You have a follow-up?
Yeah, one more question. In the past decade or so, the Ducks have won their home games by an average of about 20 points, and on the road, it's about 10, the margin of victory. What do you think accounts for that big disparity at home?
Well, I think, traditionally, teams will perform better at home, and certainly our home atmosphere is unbelievable. Your fans are unbelievable. I think individual players sometimes might play better on the road versus at home. Distractions, tickets, dealing with all those kind of things that you're dealing with at home. But certainly our atmosphere, I think, plays into that in a big way.
Aaron.
Johnstone talked about how the offensive line is messing up a lot of little simple things that's causing some problems to the running game. But also, you guys have a ton of receiver talent. But other than the first half of the first game, you haven't been able to stretch defenses and tackle them at all. How much is that hurting the run game as well?
It's all part of it. Yeah, no question. I mean, our offense is based on attacking every inch of the field. The width, the depth, and putting that all together. And whether it's time and score of the game, or execution, or game planning, or whatever, we haven't gotten into that rhythm to the extent that we're accustomed to, and that's something that absolutely we're working on.
Part of that's not being able to convert it to quarterback injury too, right?
That's life. Yeah.
Sticking with kind of the run game, is it maybe more important now that you can run the ball with the quarterback struggles or your situation at quarterback, the importance of being able to get the 6-7 yards on first down?
Absolutely. Being in 2nd and 3 is a lot easier than 2nd and 12 or whatever the situation is. And we just have to be efficient. We have to be able to run the ball when we want to run the ball. You have to be able to throw the ball when everybody knows you need to throw the ball. You have to be able to get that done to be a great offensive team.
Preston.
Tyree said today that urgency is a big thing that you've been preaching this week in practice. Is that something that you didn't see a week before, or why is that a special point of emphasis right now?
Well, that's one thing I think I said after the Michigan State game is it's easy to talk about. We talk about that every single day. A sense of urgency, because we're trying. That's something you have to create in training to duplicate game time as much as you possibly can. Invariably, an inexperienced guy, a younger guy, maybe even an experienced guy, it's like, okay, yeah, coach, whatever. But then you see that show up in a game and you win, they're still, whatever, coach. When you lose, it matters, right? Now, and hopefully that urgency is created after a game like Utah. You have a very captive audience if they're good guys, and I think our team is filled with good guys that want to respond the right way. And unfortunately, sometimes that's what it takes, is getting taking a shot in the nose and bouncing back.
Going to the phone. Jeff, did you have a question for Coach Helfrich?
Yeah, I do. Coach Helfrich, it's Jeff Hauser from SB Nation. How are you?
Doing great, Jeff.
I just wanted to ask you, you're returning to Colorado for the first time since they've really tried to rejuvenate the program, and you had a big hand in that before. Have you seen any similarities between what you did and left the program with and what you're going into now?
Yeah, Colorado's a great place. I think there's been a lot of different things going on since we've been gone. It's a long time now. I remember driving to the hospital when our son was born through the icy bumpy roads. My wife yelling at me. I remember that. It's a beautiful place, great campus. Coach McIntyre's done a great job. Obviously, they've made a tremendous commitment to the upgrading of the facilities and all the things that have gone on there with their stadium and the new everything. I haven't been there yet, and it's also always cool to see Ralphie run.
Mark, sometimes young people are more resilient than adults. Have you seen your players bounce back on their own pretty well, or did you guys have to rally the troops, so to speak?
I think both. I think absolutely they're a lot more resilient than, because again, we always have that fantastic view of things that our players in 50 years, what they're going to look like, certainly in months or years or whatever. And when that isn't fulfilled the way you foresee, that's very frustrating, et cetera, et cetera. But, our guys have bounced back well. There's some veteran guys that have struggled. There's some younger guys that have struggled. But yesterday and today, they've given great effort. And, it's literally, what is our response? What happens now? We can't dwell on what is lost. We can be excited about what we have left, and today is it.
Matt.
Where's Colorado improved the last 3 or 4 years to get them to 3-1 and feeling optimistic about this week?
I think, pretty much everywhere. They're I think when you look at a team on special teams, their athleticism is much at a much higher level than it's been over the past few years. The lines on both sides of the ball are bigger, more physical. They made some changes, obviously defensively, with bringing in Coach Levitt, and they're schematically very different than they've been. And so I think they're just, they've built and improved gradually in a great way. And now the wins have showed up for them. That's a good thing.
Any other questions here? Jeff, you one more question?
Yeah, Coach, what concerns you the most about Colorado?
Well, they're just they're a complete confident team right now. They're playing really well. I'm not sure exactly what the disparity is. I want to say about 150 yards per game. The points per game is very significant, especially coming off a shutout. Defense is playing with a ton of confidence. The kicking game, they're much improved. They're doing some different things there that create some issues. And confidence, home crowd, late night, travel, all those things. And they're just things that we deal with and focus on us.
The Buffs haven't allowed, or I should say, Cephalufau hasn't thrown an interception in 3 games, and they haven't allowed a sack in 3 games. What are you looking to do to combat that?
Well, we would like to both sack him and intercept him. Part of that is whether it's coverage confusion or pressure. No quarterback likes to be pressured. No quarterback likes to be hit multiple times. But he's done a great job of distributing the ball. They've done a great job, really, really good job of protecting him. Coach Bernardi, who's our offensive GA's father, Gary Bernardi, has done a great job with their O-line. And so, yeah, it's a challenge.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.